everybody. Welcome to another Would You Stay Tuned? Wow.
We call it a whisk around these parts.
We're so
Sometimes.
wistful for other TV shows.
Yeah, because sometimes you just get so sick of Star Trek.
God, I'm so sick of Star Trek. I'm so glad there's no Star Trek in production currently.
Yeah. Look, we have they have a lot of time before we catch up to what exists. They'll get something out there before we get there.
I'm so glad that CBS is just canceling Trek shows left and right because they don't know what they want to do with the property.
Why not? Let's just see all the big media companies implode. It's fine.
Yeah. What if we just let Star Trek fall into the public domain? Maybe it could be cool again.
Wow.
We can spawn a brand new wave of legitimate slash fic.
Yeah, that like semi-official.
That is now all canon.
Yes, yeah.
Every last one. In fact, every new one is more canon than the last.
Even more hyper canon. There was a tier of canonicity in Star Wars.
What?
No, that's the thing.
Okay. Yeah. I get.
Yeah, but then to the point where apparently Star Wars fans for the longest time considered, because now it's owned by Disney, so whatever George Lucas says doesn't matter anymore. But while it was still owned by George Lucas, top canon was whatever George Lucas says, which is a problem because George Lucas said all sorts of contradictory shit. So
yeah, or I don't know. The story that I remember hearing told is how he just saw action figures of two characters, and decided that they should be in scenes together and be friends, but they were completely disparate time periods, or
they lived centuries apart. There is no way for them to have ever minutely interacted at all.
That's all right.
I have no idea what's going on.
That's fine.
Anyway, what show are we discussing, though?
We're on the Pluribus today.
What's this podcast even about? And are we adhering to the premise today?
I would say so, because...
No and no.
No, but see, I would say so because...
I think you're stretching it.
Okay, here's the thing.
Also stretching it.
Here's the thing. This is Would You Stay
Granted,
Tuned.
It gives us more to talk about. I will always agree with that. I'm just saying that it doesn't agree with the premise.
This is Would You Stay Tuned. The premise is supposed to be that you watch the first episode or the pilot, because I don't know what is really a pilot anymore. Like networks don't really do traditional pilots anymore. No, but that's the thing. Networks used to actually do a traditional pilot, air the pilot during sweeps, and go, "Hey, this got good reviews and audience feedback.
They still do pilots.
Let's make it a full show."
But
now
it's more like pilots in the beginning phase, as more of a pitch, and then maybe they'll do a season, and then.
Well, that's what I mean. Now we do
it doesn't
full
work
season
like
orders
that so much anymore.
Yeah, now it's full season orders, and the thing I'm noticing more often, and I think Pluribus pushes it the most, is season ones are now the pilot. And I think Pluribus season 1 is very much the pilot. I think it's because of the show.
They have so much more platforms you can air things on. It's easier to take a chance on something because there's it's more affordable these days to make a show than.
No, it's not. It's way less affordable, actually.
I don't. It's
think extremely unaffordable.
It's a lot more. It's a lot easier to make a show now than.
Okay. Let's just look up Starfleet Academy budget.
I mean, I'm not saying what people are spending. I'm saying if you wanted to make
that's a fair point. The accessibility has gone up.
Yeah. There's a lot of different avenues you can go down. I'm saying Pluribus is an expensive show, but they also had a creator and a showrunner who has a very long established TV career who is worth spending the money on. But I feel like if you're talking in general, I just think that there are more people, there's so many different platforms you can pitch to, or there's so much content out there.
I think that's why they gave him a full season order immediately, because
he's Vince Gilligan.
Yes, but I think it's also because it's Apple TV Plus, and they have a lot of Apple TV Plus is interesting because they are not concerned about the success of their platform. Apple TV Plus is really more an extension of Apple TV, Apple overall as a product.
Yes, it's $1 trillion brand. Why would they care about?
So it's more to increase the like ecosystem of Apple as a brand than it is like, say, Paramount Plus, which really does need to succeed in order for them to make any money back.
If Vince Gilligan comes to pitch you a show, you're not going to be like, let's do the pilot and see how it goes. You know, like that's just from the nature of who he is. That's just not.
But that's why I think he knew he was getting a full season instantly.
He knew he was probably getting multiple seasons, I'm sure.
Well, no, that actually was not guaranteed. They actually greenlit season 2 in the middle of season 1. So I think what he did was he took advantage of that and kind of turned the entire season. I think more than any other show I've seen recently, this is a pilot season. Because not that much really happens. It's almost entirely expositional and procedural to explain the premise. That's the thing. It's like,
I know, like, okay, you can definitely perceive the season that way when you can frame it that way easily. But from episode to episode, there is enough to record an episode of a podcast about.
Yeah, but I think that's like not even in the spirit of the way the show works. It's the same way how if we did that for Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, it wouldn't have worked. Like it doesn't make a ton of sense because that required you to get the twist out of the way so you see how everything else is proceeding and see the way the different characters are starting to move on. You don't even get the deuteragonist of this show until halfway through the show, you know? Like
so
you don't
you're bringing this up all in the matter of like trying to explain the premise of this podcast is how we got here.
Yeah, because we're supposed to watch a pilot and see if we would like to stay tuned. And I think in the case of Pluribus,
well, I would argue that you, like the average viewer, would be hard pressed to commit to an entire season just to determine whether or not they want to stay tuned.
And I think that's actually part of the problem because reaction to Pluribus is not actually entirely universally positive, unlike Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. It's been a little more mixed. Even amongst people who like Pluribus, they are like, wait, what's going to happen from here? There's even like BTS stuff where Vince Gilligan has now given... So this is going to obviously spoil the whole first season. So if you guys haven't heard the full first season...
Right, we're arguing about all this because we're about to discuss the whole first season.
Yes.
And clearly we have all stayed tuned.
Right.
Yeah, so here's the kind of worrying part, which other people who've talked about Pluribus are also worried about. Vince Gilligan has admitted he has no idea what to do with the nuclear bomb at the end. And it's like,
oh, really?
Yes.
Well, then all of a sudden, so much of my interest has dissipated, unfortunately.
Exactly. I feel like he has a great way to start it but he doesn't know how to end it because this is such a large, broad sci-fi concept that it's great to set up. And that's why the entire season is just set up. There is nothing but setup in this entire first season. But if he doesn't know how to end it, that's a little odd because that's not the vibe I get from something like Severance. And it's not the vibe I got from something like Breaking Bad, where Breaking Bad, it feels like it's all going to come to a head somehow. Better Call Saul, you know how it ends because it's a prequel. But Pluribus is like, here's a really interesting premise. I don't know where to go from here. And that can be a problem, especially considering how it's otherwise so meticulously planned. Is it just going to end up somewhere like procedurally bland at the end? Or is there like an actual...
Well, I guess now the main reason why I would want to stay tuned is to just see how that happens to play out because, yeah, like you said, there's so much thought put into how this is set up that to not have any solid idea of where it's all going to end up at the end is very interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting that I mean, he also said that he wrote this show and this story was conceived more than 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting that he hasn't really, I mean, you're saying that he hasn't really.
It was post Breaking Bad he started this.
But you think that if someone's been working on something for quite a while, they would maybe have an idea.
Well, also, I don't remember what the exact version was, but I remember now. His original version was Okay, now it escaped me. But his original version of the aliens or the hive mind was different. It wasn't the way it's in the show. So
this is an interesting phrase I stumbled upon here. It says, there's critics and people online that, Pluribus tackles like complex sci-fi mysteries that deal with transforming human consciousness. Like Severance, it's comparable to Severance. It's like a similar situation in a weird way, but that Pluribus took the concept and consequences of a hive mind takeover further than other science fiction media such as Star Trek.
Yeah, he does cite Star Trek as an influence, also like Twilight Zone as an influence, which all makes sense.
It's like the hive mind thing, which we know from like the Borg, right, is like a hive mind thing. There's a couple different species, right, that are like a hive mind situation. I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the original version of the show was that there's some event that occurs and everyone just really likes this one guy. That was the original version of the show. Once he saw, I think Vince Gilligan is like secretly in love with Rhea Seehorn. So once he saw her acting, have you heard side by side, have you like heard commentary tracks on Better Call Saul of him like talking about Rhea Seehorn?
No,
I have not, because I have not watched all of Better Call Saul.
He's basically going like, oh, she's so hot. Like, oh, she's so hot in this scene. And it's just like,
really?
Okay, Vince, calm down.
All right. So
he's clearly like attracted to her. And then also likes her acting. I mean, she also isn't a really great actor. So that really helped. It is helpful that Rhea Seehorn...
like she's his muse, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. We can call it that.
I think it's really helpful that she is the core of the show because she has this believability to it, the whole thing, that makes you go, okay.
She's the core of the show, but she's a lesbian.
Well, yeah, and like because also the original version of the show obviously was a guy, and then once he liked Rhea Seehorn, he's like, oh, we're gonna
fantasy
make it Rhea
much. Don't know.
Yeah,
just kidding.
But then I think like it's a rare character that is like she's clearly an asshole, but you're like, I'll keep watching though. Like it's a lot. Usually, it's kind of hard to watch like someone who's like a huge asshole on television.
I wouldn't say
constantly.
She's, at the start,
call her a huge asshole.
Yeah,
I feel like we've seen much worse characters in other shows.
That's true, but she's like kind of like a jerk to certain things that she really shouldn't be, and like she's even dismissive of her wife a lot. Like
it's one of those things where you like. The whole point is to like evolve with the character. Like you hate them,
yes.
and then you kind of learn
she's depicted
that
as very flawed.
Bad. She's not as bad as we thought. I mean, that's how you do growth, right? Like character growth.
Well, it's not even as bad as we thought. It's more that she's re-examining her moral standards.
You know what I mean?
As things are going on.
But like that's character building. She, to make her not flat, right? That she's complex, which is true of most everyone, right? Like,
right.
I think people say they're, hey, that person's a good person, but what they're trying to say is, I think when you dive into it, everyone's complex and has moments.
And from what I recall about the very beginning of the show, it seemed like they were trying to depict her as being kind of in a bit of a rut with her writing career. She wasn't happy with the audience she had garnered by like kind of pandering to them, like not really writing her passions.
And I think the core of her frustration is actually she isn't able to write authentically because her main character was a woman originally. But she switched it in order to gain the audience that would make her money.
I mean, she definitely chose like a
and
money
so like
career.
She comes off as very cynical, jaded, and flawed. But I don't find her to be a jerk. Like I wasn't off put by her personality, to be honest.
I guess I was at the beginning, and then about halfway through, I was like going, yeah, do that, more and more.
She's just an intense, she's kind of like, hey, she knows what she likes, doesn't like. She's a little intense, it's not, she's complex, but
she's an author who drinks and,
she's a heavy drinker.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Which
to the point where her wife made sure to install a breathalyzer to start the car so that she can't start the car without it.
Is that a real thing?
That's a real thing, yeah. And some court orders require you to install that in your car.
It was my assumption that it was a court order that made her like.
It might have been a court order. They don't explicitly say, but it could easily have been a court order. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually forgot about the breathalyzer part.
So I thought the way we could go through the series as we know it, the season 1, is we do the very basic premise. So the very basic premise is virus has taken over the world. Everyone is now a hive mind except 11 people. And writer Carol Sturka is one of them who isn't taken over. And I think the other way to then kind of go through the whole series is just go through Carol's whiteboard. Because her whiteboard, each of the points are basically plot points.
Right. Because the whole season is spent building up this exposition board.
Yeah, because the show is so
It's probably
intense.
his exposition board.
That's the thing. It could easily be. Because the show is intensely...
His, as in the creator of the show. He's like, you know what?
Because the show is intensely expositional and intensely procedural. There is a lot of the show just spent watching people doing a thing.
Which, to be honest, when I happened to watch it, I was kind of craving just that sort of logical watching a puzzle come together type of show. And so,
right, and it's in that way, it's very satisfying to watch something happening and then later understanding why it happened, and you're like, oh, that's what that was.
Well, yeah,
right.
I mean,
there's a consistent through line of logic throughout the show's events, as they're depicted in this season.
It's extremely tight in the logic. Nothing feels like, wait, why did that happen? It's more like, oh, that is explained this way. It's like definitely like a sci-fi team went through all the logic and we're like, we're going to figure out every single aspect of why this is working this way.
This is really thought through.
It's very thoughtful. Combined with the procedural stuff tends to be very, very well shot. It's some of the best cinematography I've seen in a TV show in a long time.
Yeah, the cinematography is very, very good.
Yeah, very nice.
And the production design, too, is really good.
Well, the thing I noticed the most is the use of foreground background composition is, I forgot that TV shows can do that. It's something you notice in movies a lot,
Sure.
But in this show, they spent a lot of time caring about who's in the background, who's in the foreground. It's almost like they're rediscovering
TV forgets about that sometimes.
Yeah, it's almost like they're
flat.
rediscovering it Citizen Kane style, where like what's his fucking Orson Welles was like, wait a minute, I can like make something happen in the background as something's happening in the foreground. That's cinema. And the show does it constantly, like when like driving the car and you see something happening in the background, or like even when they're at a book kiosk and people are passing back and forth.
You guys ever hear about this mise en scene?
Yeah.
This mise en scène.
Well, I think
it's
definitely different than your standard sitcoms that are
Well, yeah, sitcoms are designed to be made as quickly as possible. Whereas like this one, you can see the absurd amount of planning that the only downside to and when I talked with Dan about this, he disagreed. He thought it was fine. I thought a lot of the CGI looked really bad, especially in the wide shots of like other countries. I'm not sure why.
It's not that it looked
probably.
It's not that it looked completely natural and seamless. It's just that considering it's a TV show, I'm totally willing to forgive what this looks like here.
I think
it's just landscape,
it's
just a landscape or city.
Yeah,
I don't care.
It actually did take me out of it because everything else about the show is so good looking. Like it looks so good. Like the lighting composition and the use of color is great. It's very pleasing. And then when it's juxtaposed by like very fake smoke in the background, you're like, oh God, that looks so weird. I think it's made worse because we watched it on an HDR TV and we're like, oh, it's like really bright, really brightly bad. So that didn't help. But other than that, I think the show looks amazing. Like it's not like just we used a team to light it cinema style. It's like very thoughtfully lit and it looks really good.
I wonder how much money they spent on recreating like however much of Air Force One, quote unquote, they made for the show. or the jungle, like South America.
Well,
like
apparently this company, Rodeo FX, did the VFX.
Well, I'm sure. Well, and I have a feeling this is one of those shows where secretly like 90% of the shots are CGI, so I'm sure they had their hands full as these things tend to be.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what else these guys have done.
And I'm sure they weren't the only company either. I'm sure it was a whole group of companies all working on it. So
probably.
But anyway,
I think this was the lead company.
So let's go through Carol's whiteboard. This is very helpfully put together by someone named NPD353 on Reddit because it's kind of hard to find a single screenshot of it. So they went through all of it and then compiled it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, first thing, before she even starts making a list, she realizes animal not affected by signal, no pets. That's already really interesting because that implies humans are different for some reason. But why? Does it mean the virus is specifically only for humans? Or but why would a long distance signal even know to distinguish between humans and animals? Is it just a mistake that only humans are affected? It's unclear. Because you could easily see like a dystopian version where only animals are affected and not humans, and all the animals
and their compassion for animals is kind of a through line through the show, because later you also are told or discover that they do not kill any livestock. They don't
even pick fruit. Like they don't even.
They only collect what is considered a quote unquote windfall of
they're
meat.
like super vegan.
Right.
Yeah. There's a level 10
not
vegan.
Really, because then they start
like if you die of natural causes,
people,
you're fair game.
But then they do start to eat people.
Right.
And they're so sad about it.
HDP, as John Cena would put it, human-derived protein.
All right, it was him. I forgot that they used him to explain.
I mean,
actual wrestler John Cena. Not.
It's interesting because whatever this virus did, or these space people, or whatever the consciousness is, they didn't really think it out very well long term, because they're like, oh fuck, we're already running out of food, right? Like we can't really
but that's not even their concern, I guess. Like, because they're not even worried about their own
and they don't really they don't bring up this unsustainability aspect of their existence until pretty late in the show, it feels like. Or late in the season. It's
like kind of first brought up when Carol discovers the dead bodies.
Well, they're making like human protein bars, like human human, what do you call it?
They're making Soylent
shakes. Grey. Yeah, exactly. Human little Soylent shakes or whatever.
Yeah, so that's one thing. The second thing on the list that's still not a number is anger equals danger. Chaperones family, friends. So basically this means this is a really weird like plot thing. If anyone gets angry, even fake angry near them, as we will later find with Manusos, because he just starts yelling at one of them and that causes a worldwide seizure.
Yeah, every time it causes a seizure
thing.
Yeah, it causes a mass seizure, and I don't quite get why. That's really weird.
Maybe because they're so nice?
I mean, if I hadn't heard about the atom bomb factoid that you gave us at the very beginning of this episode, I would have been like, yeah, what is that about? But now I'm starting to think like, they don't have an answer for this, do they? They don't have an answer for this, do
they don't.
They might not have an answer for these questions right now.
One theory I had is that that being happy is actually a requirement, because if they aren't happy, that causes all of them to disconnect. So
that is a decent theory, I say.
You know what's interesting though is like watching this show, you're always kind of waiting for it does happen eventually, but off the bat you're kind of like, all right, what's evil about these fucking virus, alien, whatever race thing? Like,
you're looking for
the horrible thing, and then throughout the show they're just like, wow, they're actually very accommodating, and you're kind of like, well, this actually doesn't suck. And as you find out, some people are totally okay with it. They're like,
right, but then the shoe does but then the shoe does drop at the end.
Well, that they're eating people, right?
No, that's not that.
Well,
that's
not just that, but it's that they will, no matter what, refuse to leave you alone. Like they will at some point always come to also take you over, and they don't actually believe in letting you have any autonomy in the end.
Yes, they want, the end goal is to have you assimilate.
Right, and that never changes.
In the nicest way possible, in the most accommodating, comfortable way.
See, that's the thing. I don't even know if it's nice. That's the thing. I think it's a fake nice. We'll get there when we get to that point on the list, but I don't think it's actually nice. So now we get to the actual numbers. So number 1, eager to please, would give me a bomb. So that does happen.
Right.
And they are willing to
in like episode 3 of 8.
Yeah. And they are willing to give everyone everything they ask for.
Including a hand grenade.
Including a hand grenade or any type of food, or like putting on elaborate performances for them, or even sexual slavery. They're all willing to do this.
Right.
So, that was disturbing, but
Yeah. There's that Mauritian character, Diabate. He's the guy who's living out his like James Bond fantasies, and he's like a secret huge prick, because he is just like basically raping women left and right, like because while living in his Las Vegas penthouse. So it's like kind of weird.
Well, it gives you a window
considering
into
the state of their
like,
consciousness by that point, like depending on where your head is at in sci-fi, like is there like a consciousness left after the joining?
I don't know. They could be.
I think so, because I don't know. I feel like there is still, it kind of reminds me of Star Trek, where you're kind of like the Trills, where there's like a host a little bit, then it's like maybe like a joining of like this hive mind, yet that person's still in there, and like, you know, but you kind of wonder,
is the person who's quote unquote still in there just a playback of what has been like recorded in the hive mind of who they were?
I feel like there is a little speckle of someone who might be upset that they're being used, but maybe don't have the voice or control to like voice it. I feel like that might be a plot point in the next season, maybe, that one of them kind of breaks away from the consciousness and they're kind of like, I'm still in here, you know, I'm still kind of like, you know, they start questioning something.
I think they kind of allude to it, at least as a possibility, because at the season finale, when Manusos is inducing the worldwide seizure again, he tells the person having a seizure that, don't worry, I know you're in there. I'm going to free you if I can.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he does say that.
At least he believes that. So there seems to be remembering.
I also remember just now that there was that moment where Carol like kind of doped up Zoja on like that truth serum stuff, and like kind of tried to grill her and say like, is there a way to stop this or undo this? And she was, because they can't lie, which is another rule she established. And she was completely unwilling to give an answer. That was likely a tell that there must be some way to undo it.
Yes.
But
they are willing to lie through omission, though. They're not. It's not that they're not willing to lie. It's that when directly asked, they will give a direct answer, a truthful answer, but it won't be like the scope of what is like the of what they're really asking for. You know, they will omit details if it's helpful to them. That's a thing. So they are willing to do lies of omission. They are willing to like not be completely forthcoming unless asked. So
it does seem that they will explore the whole trope of like there's a little bit of someone in there in the shell, you know, a little bit of. I mean, if they don't,
there's definitely more drama that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where would the show even go then?
No, I think there's so many places to go, because we don't even know who Zosha, right?
Yeah, Zosha.
We don't even know like who all these people were like at their core, like prior to the hive mind. We know like a little bit, but like we don't know how they feel about all this. Like I think there's
I'm agreeing with there's quite a few people who are probably vastly improved by becoming
definitely. There's probably people that I'm like, oh wow, you're actually enjoyable to be around now, for sure. Absolutely.
No, and also I'm agreeing with, I think you may have misinterpreted what I'm saying. If you don't have the little hope that you can bring people back, then what can you even do with the show? It would just be everyone's hopelessly lost, and we're just waiting to either die or something.
Like that guy in Vegas.
Point. Like that has to be that has to be like a part of the show, the hope that it can be reversed.
Yeah, it has to be part of the show. Otherwise, it's completely useless. Like as a dramatic premise, it's just slowly waiting for the Earth to die at that point, which is kind of nothing.
Well, yeah, and I would like to pull on the thread of like that unsustainability. Like, what are they planning to do if that stops being viable?
That's her point number 2. Can't kill, not a fly, can't pick an apple, windfall only, mass starvation. So they literally are running. So the humans who are not taken over are kind of using up all of the resources left, because especially someone like Diabate is like just eating the fanciest foods and like wasting them, when really the humans should be.
It's not him. I mean, it's more like if they don't continue the process of killing things and eating them,
so
humans cannot live, because
but
that's what I'm saying.
Diabate knows that, and he's still using up tons of resources anyway.
Right. Like, but I mean, I don't think it's at a scale that would affect, you know.
Yeah, like, it's unclear how much he himself is using alone. Of course, it's way more than the average average person who is part of the hive mind, of course. But like, he is only one person asking for all that stuff right now.
I mean, the only problem is they can't continue the chain of how humans survive as top top whatever.
Well, if you're not even willing to
killing.
harvest crops.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not even willing to
then you're
pick
not
a
really
fruit off
providing
a tree.
agriculture.
Yeah, if you can't do that, then you're pretty much down to almost nothing, and that's a really hard way to live. That's not a way to live.
And I really want to believe that they have written themselves into this corner with a plan to get out.
I hope so.
Now I don't know. Damn it. Now I'm so... oh, man. That sucks.
So that's why everyone was wary about the Vince Gilligan quote. Because they were like, why did you say that? Why could you just shut up? Say that? Yeah.
Yeah, you could have just not said that.
Yeah, you're being a little too honest. Because you've had a career where people did kind of respect the way you started and ended stories. To be fair, Better Call Saul isn't entirely Vince Gilligan. It was also Peter Gould. And Peter Gould really did kind of steer that entire ship together. But he also is the creator of both shows. You would hope there was more of a plan moving forward, especially with how much time he's being given.
Man.
So I don't know. Maybe also he could be fucking with us and is just saying that. But
and then there's also that hope. It would make total sense. It would make every bit of sense for him to have a plan, considering how long it's taken.
Right.
It's probably more incredible to believe that he doesn't have any idea at all right now.
I mean, in terms of, because I watched this show a little bit of a while ago from when we're recording this now, but I believe it was. They started eating dead humans, right? They weren't actively killing people. They were
they were people of the hive who died.
Right.
So.
Okay. I mean,
that's not sustainable though. You'll eventually run out of
Right. But part of me is just this alien species. What, I don't even know if they're aliens, types of animals, a virus, a mushroom thingy. I don't know, an intelligent fungi. I'm not sure what even this is. Or a Borg of some kind, or AI. Some people say it's an AI
I think officially it's an RNA virus.
But then what? Why is this? That doesn't seem sophisticated. You can't. There's no plan of survival.
Okay, so in terms of what is it? It's actually made very, very explicit at the beginning. They send an RNA sequence. For some reason, these scientists decide to fast track making it into a virus. I don't know why.
They're just so excited. They're having a big old party out there.
It takes a few months when usually these types of things would take years or a decade to really do. But for some reason they fast track it.
I don't know why, but I have memories of scientists drinking and partying. Were they doing that?
No.
Okay.
They were just going oh, well, okay. They were excited to receive a signal. So that was one thing.
There's a big gathering of scientists and they're all excited.
Yeah. And basically it turns out that if you put it into a virus, it'll just spread like crazy. The actual mechanism outside of that isn't known because we don't know how they're connected exactly. We don't know why it interacts with the human genome so specifically, etc.
Well, there's also a point at which Zosha kind of tells Carol about hey, this is where the signal originally came from, or this planet way out in space.
Right.
And so if they know that much, I don't know, trying to brainstorm here. If the signal was just sent out, is it just we are aiming to spread ourselves as much as possible, sustainability be damned, and everybody who is affected and becomes a hive mind using this sequence,
I don't know,
is dedicated to spreading the signal even further?
I don't know, because the reason they know where the signal is from isn't because the RNA virus tells them. It's because the scientists that originally discovered it are now part of the hive and they know where it's from. Therefore, the whole world knows where it's from.
Okay, but didn't Zosha say at some point that it was their goal at the moment to create some way to broadcast the signal again?
Yes, that's their ultimate goal. So that implies this, whatever this is, it makes them so addicted to it, or so fully engrossed in how it makes them feel happy, that they feel like they must spread it to everyone regardless of cost. And that is what they're going to do with this technology that they have. And I guess
see, on paper it doesn't sound so bad.
Except if you're all going to be happy the whole time, this is a Katamari situation.
Yeah.
Right. But the Katamari
sounds good, actually.
No,
they come back right away.
No, they don't. The Katamari you're part of the Katamari, and you're happy. Fuck, damn it. And that's it.
Well, why does the king
You're
always
part of the
pop
Katamari
back
now.
out and go, "Hi, I'm back"? Well,
he's
we
the
roll him
king.
up every time.
He is the king, and he's the one who gets to explode you if he doesn't think you're big enough.
How do we feel about the parallels that are obviously being drawn around AI? This is another commentary I saw online, which I kind of agree with. I realized the way Carol interacts with the hive mind is almost how a lot of people use ChatGPT. It's like this, like it's always positive reinforcement, a desire to always, say yes. There's traits that are very
you're there
similar.
with a people pleaser who has the collective knowledge of everyone.
Exactly. It's ChatGPT, right? Like in a weird way, you call up and you're like, hey, what's the fucking temperature?
And to lend some credence to Sarah's points here, I found an article from Polygon dated November 14th last year. Is Pluribus actually about AI? We asked Vince Gilligan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and he said
no. One I'm looking at
because he hadn't even heard of it.
He said no. He said no, but he didn't. He wrote it. He had this concept 8 years prior to AI being normal, but it's also not a new concept, right? Of being able to be
yes, like any sci-fi premise, you can always draw metaphorical analogies to lots of things and see where it lands. I personally didn't get that vibe. I think I got more of the vibe of groupthink. This is an extreme version of everyone deciding to have a monoculture and just thinking the exact same way. How dangerous can that be? Is it a danger?
Isn't that AI though? AI is kind of like a...
No, because AI is a bunch of companies controlling one source of information. That's less groupthink and more a few companies trying to tell you what to think. This is more of I thought of it as a weird potential anti-communist view where it's kind of like, hey, look at these collectivists. Aren't they super happy, but aren't they kind of weird? That's
just to be clear, I didn't see
one
it
way
as
one
an
could
AI
take
thing. It is a comparison that I think definitely someone watching this could be like, hey, that's like ChatGPT.
That's
what
possible.
I use it for,
I can see it.
It's an interpretation that I think this show lends to an interpretation. Then also this article too makes a good point is some people see it as a connection to COVID-19, right? Like a virus taking over, there's many different things that you could tie it to that are okay, this
And Vince Gilligan also said that it also his thinking of the premise of the show also predated COVID-19, obviously.
Right.
So it's it just happens to coincide or line up with topics of the day.
Yeah,
right.
Which is it's very you see how things unfold in this show, and you're kind of it's familiar, right? You're kind of oh, this is familiar. We know this. This looks like COVID, right? When everybody was protective gear and things were airborne and this, that, and nobody knew what was going on. And then, all of a sudden we have someone asking an intelligent hive mind of some sort, hey, random question.
To be fair, it's also pretty clear that it's not trying to ape off of COVID because COVID has specific imagery. And none of that imagery is really in the show at all. Compare that to the Steven Spielberg War of the Worlds. That was very, very specifically trying to use 9/11 imagery, and you see it. There's literally dust everywhere from buildings collapsing and shit. And he's trying to invoke 9/11 to use that as a comparison for a shitty sci-fi movie. I don't see any of that in.
But in this way they have there's the lab scenes, right? That's all very
there's labs and lots of things.
No, but and even the way it's spread, right?
I mean, to me, COVID coded is everyone's wearing masks, everyone is distancing, everyone is worried about.
It was spread through even the little scene with the donuts or whatever. You're just kind of oh, it's through
donuts?
Touch. It's through. Was it donuts? Yeah, remember?
Oh, the very beginning, they were trying to spread it further by having infected people lick donuts for the.
But that reminds me of COVID-19, right? When everyone was fucking
COVID
popping their shit in the fucking microwave. I'm not saying it was accurate, but you were don't touch my group share food, everything, everything felt infected. And
COVID left a mark on us, and I think it has encouraged us to view infectious things as like it's hard to shake that.
Yeah.
Shake
Yeah,
that
you're
tint off
kind
of
of like,
your
man,
lens.
there was a point where you're like, it could be spread that way, right?
But what I'm saying is, I don't think the show is specifically trying to invoke COVID imagery.
Well, I don't think that's intent versus like, impact. It's not trying to, but it is. I mean, these are images that are familiar to us, right? Like the labs, the people touching community things, like
sort of. I mean,
I think so. I mean, I think for me, I was just like, oh yeah, this is, it's hard to watch this kind of stuff because it feels familiar sometimes.
I mean,
to me.
This feels like a mini death of the author discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, which is
But
fine.
I'm not saying that it's an intent. Like, I think it just is what it is, right? Like,
right. And I think what's in it, to me, doesn't, I think other pieces of media have invoked COVID panic way stronger. Like Last of Us, the COVID panic in there is much stronger. Despite the fact that it was created far before COVID. And the games actually probably invoke it stronger because they actually wear masks in that game versus in the show where they never wear masks.
For sure. I mean, I think there's a degree, right? Like, I'm not saying it's like, oh my God, it's a direct correlation. There's degrees. It's infectious
I recall
disease,
an
right?
image or two. Yeah. Like I recall an image or two of like people in the hospital all like, dropping dead or something. That's just kind of like evocative of how dire things felt at the time.
That's in like the first half where the whole world is having the seizure as they're all being connected at once.
Right, exactly. When things are looking really bad during that little moment, I think that was when it felt the strongest. Like, oh, it's kind of reminding me of that.
And like that hysteria era of like not knowing what's going on. And it felt very like overnight-ish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this, like overnight, one day we were in the office, the next day, quite literally, we were not. And it's
I think the imagery was intense enough to evoke, recent sensitive memories, much like how when we were first starting to watch Star Trek, we were noticing every fucking thing they weren't doing to resist infection or contain.
Well, Star Trek just that just feels common sense, regardless.
Like we might have made the point before, but we were really hammering it at the time because of what was happening.
It was fresh.
Like, where the fuck is your PPE, Picard? Of course, we didn't even have that abbreviation in our minds.
No. I would have never known what you said, what that is.
Yeah.
But and also they weren't thinking about that in Star Trek because it wasn't really a thing on that level at that time. So they were like, whatever. Now we're like, oh, we know what's needed, stand your 6 feet apart, get your mask.
But I also think for writers, it was probably like they couldn't even like visualize the need to like worry about it like visually.
Right. They're like and if you try to write similar types of stories for a Star Trek show now, there is no way in hell you'll get away with not having some sort of modern Star Trek PPE or something involved.
Yeah, well, now we've been through it, so everone's gonna clock
which
it.
Which is so funny because
that's not valid.
Which is so funny because season 6 of TNG Timescape, Geordi created personal shields for everyone. And you're like, everyone just always have personal shields when you're going out.
They invented that in the 90s before the pandemic. They didn't know to implement it yet.
No, every away mission, just put on your personal shields.
It'll be fine. We'll never need something that intense.
You know what? I was in Walgreens today, and one thing kind of struck me. A lot of places still remember during COVID, the plastic barriers were installed like everywhere. Cashiers.
Yeah.
A lot of she still had it up. They still have it up. And I remember thinking to myself,
and I respect every last one of them. I like them there. Yeah.
If you didn't have context, you'd be like, why is there a plastic barrier?
It's just a sneeze guard now.
No, but
everyone has a sneeze guard.
But that just wasn't.
I can sneeze wherever I want now.
I know. Yeah.
It just wasn't.
No, that's the thing. It's great that it's still there, to be honest. I'm like, whatever. Like, leave it. Like, what's the fucking problem? Like,
it's just something that is so specific that came out of COVID. Obviously it was something that was already a whatever, buffets, whatever. But like, this is like.
Or like Asian countries already had them. Like, it was like a thing.
But like now, this is like in front of your cashier at Walgreens, like that wasn't a thing like ever.
Yeah.
I couldn't you couldn't even tell me when I used to work at CVS that one day there would be a plastic barrier installed between you and like I would be like, what? You're kidding me. Like that's for what? That's crazy.
It's good. It's good for just not having any colds sent to you. Get away from me.
Yeah, I mean, it's valid, but I mean, it makes you think, like, so many things have happened now that in my past life I would have never imagined would be happening, right? Like,
that is fair to say.
So I'm just kind of like, man, it feels like anything's fucking possible at this point. Like, I never, if you told my old self, I would be a podcaster or doing all these things that I'm doing now, I would have laughed at you and been like, you're crazy.
That's a little more believable than COVID and a Trump presidency, to be honest.
Yeah, I would believe podcasting to some degree.
I wouldn't. Yeah. Not of myself.
No, I wouldn't. I could never be a podcaster.
I literally would. I would be like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know. It's just funny how, like, so many things happen that you never could have saw coming, like a pandemic or
that is the one where you're like, did you know a lot of people will die from a virus in the future? Like,
and it will change the landscape of the world and how we do things forever, right?
But at the same time,
you know
people won't really care as much as you think they should.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of people still think it wasn't real. Yes. Also, a lot of people keep blaming the Chinese.
Yes, like we came out the other end of it not that great, to be honest.
No,
but that's why I say, like, what's in store for us in the future?
Oh yeah,
how I feel like our minds can't even wrap around.
When I was this is also a tangent. When I was a kid, because this is actually slightly related to the dinosaurs show that Sarah and I are currently watching, because they keep teasing the big meteor that's going to hit the planet and wipe out the dinosaurs, right? So that could happen.
The Jim Henson dinosaur show?
That's also something.
Oh, the Netflix.
Not the mama.
No, the Netflix Spielberg produced dinosaurs quote unquote documentary, which is 100% CGI.
Not to be confused with the Disney movie Dinosaur.
Yes. And not to be confused with Dinotopia, a series of novellas about a island where dinosaurs continued to evolve and became sentient.
Oh, right. Yeah, there's English. That. Not to be confused with Pixar's The Good Dinosaur.
Not to be confused with Jim Henson, The Dinosaurs.
Not to be confused with We're Back, A Dinosaur Story.
Not to be confused with The Last Dinosaurs, band that plays music kind of like the Pillows.
Oh, it is We're Back, A Dinosaur Story. I thought I was fucking that up, but it wasn't even that off.
No.
Nice.
The weird, I had like a weird fear as a child because I was like, well, no, like, because I always thought, meteors, we'll see them coming. They're big, right? But then I thought, like, but lasers, what if there's a sentient,
like a dark side omega beam?
Yeah, like there's like a sentient alien civilization, right? And they decide to randomly shoot off a laser into space.
Oh,
and lasers go infinitely long. So what if that laser just slams into the earth?
I thought you were going for sentient lasers that could direct themselves.
Oh, sentient lasers.
Yeah, because like that sounds scary. That's fast.
And then that would hit us at the speed of light, so we can't prepare for it. It would just slam into.
That's actually the ideal situation, to be honest.
You would just be instantly vaporized by an Earth-sized laser that we could not see coming.
Yeah,
because by the time
that'd be fine.
That's fine. I mean, I agree. That's fine. Oh. We wouldn't know either way, right?
Pluribus is partially made in Quebec. I just saw it. That's weird.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
So
sorry.
Quebec and Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Vince Gilligan loves those tax breaks.
He loves them. Sorry, where were we? Okay, the list. Okay. Number 3, don't play faves, love all jerks, same. So that introduces a bunch of side characters. There is Lakshmi, who is completely delusional and believes that's still her family. So she keeps treating them like her family.
I mean, is she delusional? We don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of them in there.
Well, she's treating them as if their personalities as they are her family. You know what I mean? Like, she's a little delusional.
No, I know what you mean. It's just, I don't think, she's probably grieving in some way, right?
Yeah. She's doing like
her whole family changed and she likes them now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
She's like, my family listens to me now. This is great,
actually.
Then there's Diabate, who we talked about before, who is
the hedonist.
He's the hedonist, but he's also like, I get the sense that he came from poverty and he is now living out all of his wildest fantasies. Because
that you can get some sense of that, sure. Especially like how kind of cartoonishly extravagant his ideas are. It's like, I want to ride around in Air Force One.
Right. I think the biggest
and live in Las Vegas.
I think the biggest tell is that he did not know how to make a sandwich until Carol made one in front of him. And then he made the same. Yeah, this is like
or clocked that when it happened, really.
Yeah, this is like in episode 8 or 7 or something, where he like kind of has her come to his penthouse in Vegas while no one is there. Like everyone is cleared out.
Right.
And he serves her breakfast and she starts making a sandwich out of the ingredients, the avocado, eggs, and bacon, I think. And he goes, oh, I didn't know that's a thing. And he doesn't say that, but he's like starts watching her and he starts making a sandwich and then he eats it and he's like, you can tell from his expression that it's really good to him and he's never had it before.
Oh, I thought it was just like a novel recipe he hadn't experienced before. Not necessarily that he was so impoverished he's never seen a sandwich in his life.
Not that he hasn't seen a sandwich, but I think he doesn't know what to do this type of food outside of what he's seen in movies. That's why all of his fantasies are like movie fantasies. I don't think he knows something as simple as...
He's also not from the States.
Yeah, he's from Mauritius.
So I mean, there's the cultural difference of like, I don't know if they eat that there. You know what I mean? Like
that's also true. Yeah. So I guess
Mauritius is it North Africa? Was it?
Yes, I believe so. I can look it up again. So Mauritius,
like I think I see it as
Africa,
like
East
Africa, he's
actually.
not familiar with her. You know, I don't think they eat. I don't know if they eat sandwiches there like that, you know, with avocado and eggs and whatever bacon and avocado toast and whatever. You know, I doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there could have been a joke about, I've heard all about this avocado toast.
Yeah, they could have made that joke. They could have
done that if they wanted.
Yeah, but they didn't. Yeah, but instead I think it was an interestingly almost touching scene because he's going like, oh. No, and he's just like, yeah.
Like for all of his like creepy sex pesting, like Diabate is also the only one of the other uninfected that is kind of nice to Carol. Like
he's sympathetic to her situation.
Yeah, he's the only one who like decides to keep talking to her and like treat her like.
It seems like Vince really likes these flawed, complicated characters where it's like they're shitty, but they're also okay.
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
It's like these very, very polarizing personality traits. You're just like, well, he like rapes and fucks women, but like, you know, he's also like kind of nice and understanding to Carol, you know, and you're like, okay, like he's also the only one that will listen. And
he's also, I think, like definitely prone to like believing his own fantasy because like in that same episode when Carol is off somewhere else, he's on the phone talking to them on the phone as if it is a long distance girlfriend or something. He goes, I can't wait to see you soon either. Like he talks about it as if like they aren't just a hive mind. So it could also be that he's just fully given into fantasy and is just
and to be fair, on the other end of that call, they are likely reinforcing it.
Yes, they are, and they are reinforcing it. Yeah,
like you have every reason to believe in it when they just do it for you.
Well, you can say like Carol's almost the same. Like with Zosha, you know, like she ends up kind of like, I mean, she definitely likes her. They honestly, when they have their little scenes together, I mean, they're having, while it's a hive mind thing and it's kind of creepy in that way, but Zosha always knows the right thing to say, how to connect with her, how to make her laugh, how to, you know, it's kind of like the perfect partner. You know what I mean? Like they know everything.
Right. I have a question
about you. So it's easy, right?
I have a question. And to set up the question for the listeners, just in case. Zosha is kind of like the chaperone they give to Carol. Zosha looks a lot like the female version of Carol's novel's protagonist.
Yeah, as she originally conceived her.
Yeah, because Carol, in her own mind, conceived someone who was really attractive to her, but then made her a man for the purposes of the book. So she is very physically attracted to Zosha to the point where when she's trying to do some sort of tests, which we'll get into later, with a truth serum, he uses it on herself and she admits to herself on camera that she finds Zosha very attractive. And then they sort of begin a relationship together. But do you think the relationship she's having with Zosha is like an escape? Or do you think she's doing it because she wants to like be reminded of Helen? Because they also admit Helen is in there.
I actually think a third option that you didn't even mention.
What do you think?
I think she genuinely has a connection with Zosha and likes her, like genuinely as a person. Like even I could see the next season going into like whatever the original Zosha person was. She's going to like try to pursue her and care about her and fight for her to get her out of there or whatever. Like I really do feel like
I think she's someone in a very extraordinary situation who is prone to loneliness and everything that comes with.
Well, yeah, they have an entire episode dedicated to her suffering from depression from being alone.
Right.
So,
and the first person they send back is Zosha, and she embraces her and hugs her and cries, and it's like she's going through it, and Zosha's the only anchor she's been given. And
yeah, I mean, there's that like whatever,
like it may be a bit predictable and manipulated in some ways, but I feel like the connection is being built on real emotions. But who knows how much of this
are growing into like this
this is something that I had written down in my notes, how Zosha as a character is framed as like a specific like character to pair with Carol, but it is kind of fun and fascinating to keep in mind that Zosha at all times is representing the entirety of the other hive mind, of the others in the hive mind.
See, that's the thing. At the moment, I don't see any hints of Zosha being nothing more than the entire hive mind at once. Because even as a representative,
though, I feel like they did drop some things where like you were kind of like, oh, that's Zosha coming through.
But that's the thing. Zosha doesn't even speak English. Zosha is Polish, and like Zosha also came from like
I feel like there's something where she asked her like, "Hey, can I talk to like Zosha?" Like I feel like there was something.
She asks a member of the hive about Helen, not about Zosha in particular. She asked what Helen thought of her novels. And then
there was a moment though where they do spend time together, and she's kind of getting to know Zosha as like a person. I think.
Well, she's asking what was Zosha like before they all joined.
Right.
It's not Zosha speaking back. That's the hive mind explaining what Zosha was like.
I know, but I take that as her being like, I'm kind of interested in knowing.
Yeah, it could be interpreted as like Carol doing like the closest thing she can to like try to personalize this being that has been with her and is so attractive and she wants to have sex with. And it's like, what do I need to know about you, or like what do I need to do to talk myself into having sex with you?
What?
Because like the closest thing I'm just thinking, because the closest thing I can think of is. See, I think it's actually okay. See, here's what I think is going on, and I think it's a potentially clever thing going on with the show, because I think viewers are also getting tricked into thinking there is a potential for Zosha to have individual personality at the same time Carol is, because as we start viewing Zosha more as an individual character, and Carol starts to ask Zosha, say, "Can you say I instead of we and us?" And all that keeps happening, and you see a montage of them all hanging out with her, and like basically being a partner with her, etc. Like it seems like they are forming some sort of genuine bond together. I think the biggest moment is when she is extremely excited about Carol's new chapter for the next book.
Yeah, like by that point, it feels like a farce a bit.
Well, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing. I feel like that is supposed to start bringing you into the idea that Carol also views her as potentially an individual, and she's hoping that's a possibility. But then I think that is a buildup to then rip it out from underneath you, because there's point 4, trying to change me, stem cells, biological imperative, need my consent. The season ends with them. So the premise is there's something different about their biology that prevents this RNA virus from working. And the only way to get it work is to create a unique virus just for them using their stem cells, which they need to harvest from their bone marrow, from most of them. One of them, the Peruvian girl, I forgot her name, has consented.
Yeah.
Diabate has turned it down. And Carol has also turned it down. But previously, Carol froze her eggs in case she ever wanted to become pregnant.
Right.
And they are going to use her eggs without her consent, because it's not really about consent. It's just a rule they have to not physically hurt her. So they are going to still try to convert her without her consent using her eggs' stem cells.
Right.
So I think that is when you realize, oh no, this is still the hive. Never been an individual.
Right.
It is just an extremely good illusion.
Yeah, and that's the hook that is the heart. That's
supposed to be the heart. Yeah, and that's supposed to be like the heartbreaking part of this setup, is that there is no individuality. They still really, really, really want to bring her in, and like they need something
I think it's
else.
telling. I think it's also telling, looking at the episode list right now, like, oh, right, episode title. Episode 8, the one where they are getting kind of close to each other before Menuso shows up, is called The Charm Offensive.
Right. Yeah, the hive is using Zosha's charms to try to seduce her.
And this is fresh off of Come Back, I'm So Depressed.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Yeah, it's very telling, yeah.
I feel like that's why, like, the individuality idea is more of, like, a seduction. And like
yeah, but like you do, like you said earlier, you have to hold on to that hope. And if you can hold on to that hope that the unjoining is possible, then the more like Carol like wants to believe in Zosha as an individual, like it might end up turning out the real tragedy is that the individual she's fighting for never existed for real. It was always only ever the hive mind she ever interacted with.
Well, yeah, because the real Zosha is probably someone completely different. What are the odds she's lesbian? What are the odds she can even communicate with her or have any sort of...
Right. And so, like, who knows? Maybe she will, like, eventually go on some crusade to free Zosha from this hive mind as well. And
that's what I'm thinking. That's my prediction for the next seasons, is that she's latched onto the person she believes is in there for Zosha, like who she can be, and is going to try to recover that person in hopes that it's a partner.
What if at some point there is a big like revelational moment where Zosha starts speaking with a really bad Polish accent?
Well, I mean,
and that's like how it's really her.
And it turns out she's like super homophobic, and she's like, like, that's all possible.
It might happen.
Yeah. Did I say number 3? Don't play faves. Love all jerks. Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah,
okay,
you did.
Yeah, because the last one in that list is actually like the second protagonist of the show, who is Menusos Oviedo, who is a huge asshole.
That guy's fucking funny. That's the guy that was just like going everywhere.
Is having none of their shit.
No.
Yeah.
He refuses absolutely anything and everything from them. He won't talk to them.
He is the 110% survivalist mindset. Like there is nothing else going on in his mind except survival.
And him paying his like parking and whatever the fuck to these people.
He refuses to take anything without compensation.
Like, bro, it's fine. Like you don't need to pay for whatever. Yeah.
He's like a South American Hank Hill.
Yeah. Well, Hank Hill's not sexist. He's kind of
okay.
Sexist.
Yes. Well, he can get a little there sometimes.
Hank Hill means well.
Yes.
But Menusos does not. Menusos is a bit more. He seems more dogmatic than he is moral, in my opinion. And that's
is his adherence to social order. Is kind of what I was getting.
Yes, he is lawful good. If we're going into
lawful, that's
which is not the greatest position to be in, because he's kind of a huge asshole, and like the moment he's like, oh, you're just a prick, is when he's like going to Carol, like, give me the thing. Yeah, like the phone, and you're like, no, ask her. And that's how he just treats all women he goes up to. So that's a little weird. But he's, for all intents and purposes, the secret second protagonist of the show, because he's like the second person.
But again, another Vince Gilligan character where you're like, he's a dick, right?
Yeah. But you're also rooting for him because he's the only one who is like 1,000% committed to trying to disconnect everyone,
to not
like
do this,
yeah,
very proactive.
And a very, very long sequence of him just walking through the I also discovered this while trying to be like, okay, is there really a part of Panama where the road stops and they no longer connects to the northern part? And
there's a real gap for something, isn't there?
There's a real actual gap where you cannot cross it by car or even barely by person. and it's amazing. I was like, wow, I'm really surprised this in our like modern future of like everything is like global. There is still a disconnect there. That's fascinating, actually.
I could believe it.
Yeah, and the show takes advantage of that for dramatic effect because he tries to cross it, and his back gets filled with poison tree spikes.
He like impales himself on a crazy palm tree that is like super spiky.
And it's like super poisonous or something, and like it has to get airlifted to the hospital, and he kind of like
the hive does have to save him.
Yeah, and then he discovers one thing that's not on this list, which I guess we can bring it up now. The hive mind is all connected with one specific radio frequency. Which
that's a detail that I kind of forgot already.
He noticed it very early on as he was going through CB channels to try to find any contact, and then he realized only one line had a signal that just seemed odd.
And then said, I have a ham radio.
That's all it said over. And then at the end, when he's inducing the worldwide seizure, that one channel gets crazy noise. So he goes, "Oh, that's how they're connected." Good.
Oh yeah. I totally like was spacing out during those sequences.
Seems a little analog, don't we think?
That's the thing. How are they connected by a radio?
I don't know.
Yes. Maybe not sure. Every infected person becomes their own becomes a broadcaster themselves.
It's also possible. I can see them writing in where it turns out hive minds like initially worked as like separate like pods, and then they actually have created like secret radio networks that we're not privy to, and they're using that to connect everyone. Like that could be a thing. Like
maybe the writers are listening to every speculative podcast to try to find the best.
They're like, that's the one we should use.
The best array of solutions for all the crap they've laid out for us.
Yeah, like an array of radio antennas. So number 5 we've kind of talked about. Weirdly honest, can't lie. So and also number 6 we've also talked about. They eat people. Windfall. 7. Communal sleeping, cuddle puddle, body heat, sex.
Oh, the communal sleeping.
Energy efficient. Yeah.
It's so weird. They just kind of turn into a factory and like sleep on the floor.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. It's a great way of seeing how the entire human race has basically been turned into one giant like. Okay, this is now the part of my brain that loves like simulation games or like builder games. Where it's like, it's one giant roller coaster tycoon or something. They're all doing something efficiently together.
Well, yeah, like everyone is coordinated in such a way that all of their efforts interlock with each other, and they can coordinate a very large scale project very quickly.
Which honestly
they all know what each other is doing.
It's great. Honestly, I love it.
It's such a cool idea and
I
satisfying
wish that
to
we
see
could do
in practice.
That. Yeah, it's very satisfying. It's extremely efficient.
Like watching a grocery store get rebuilt like in a minute.
Is fantastic. It's great. I'm like, imagine what we can accomplish if we had that sort of like hive mind. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Speaking of that grocery scene, I love that grocery store scene because it is a really great demonstration of one, what a hypocrite Carol is, and 2, how dependent we really are on like globalist connections of everything. Because like Carol goes to the store going, "Where's my grocery store? I'm a very independent person. I like to do my own shopping, etc." They're like, "We can bring stuff to you," and they're like, "No, I like to do my own shopping. I'm independent." They're like, "Okay, I guess we'll put the whole grocery store back."
Right. It feels very like it feels very like self-defeating in as you watch it. It's like, oh, this wasn't a good idea.
You just wasted a huge amount of resources just so you can feel a little better.
Yeah. I remember being kind of annoyed with her in that moment. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, just tell them what you need. It's fine.
See, that's the stuff what I mean. I'm annoyed. When she threw away the breakfast they gave her, I was like, at least eat the breakfast. That's such a waste of food.
Especially now.
Yeah. Well, she didn't know yet that they couldn't do it. But still, I'm like, come on. Just know, but yeah, they are very, very efficient. They work perfectly in sync,
and I love that. I love that they don't have to. You literally imagine going to work or whatever, and you don't have to talk to anybody because you all know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and there's no overlap. There's no being like, "Hey, what am I supposed to be doing again? Like, can you explain to me again?" Or You know,
if we could do it selectively, this would be great.
That's great. But, and we don't have to talk. We can just put our heads down and do it. That's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah. That would be cool.
If we could decide to turn this on and off, that would be great.
Oh my God. Think of how much we can get done, but maybe do ants work like this, if they all understand. There's the hive mind, that.
Similarly, ants do, they what's a word? Convince? It's not convince. They not provoke. They use pheromones to kind of induce other ants to do certain tasks. So by leading a trail, all the ants will be induced to follow the trail. By putting certain pheromones on the larvae, all the ants will be induced to protect the larvae. So they do it through pheromones in particular.
Yeah. So, yeah. I'm pro whatever that is. Let's do it.
Start using pheromones to tell each other to do things.
Yeah.
How cool would that be? We could probably build a house in an hour. You know what I mean? It'd be crazy.
Well, the Amish can kind of get get that done for now.
Yeah. Exactly. We could do so much because we all would just understand and be able to just step in at any moment, and the coordination of it all is out the window.
Right. Number 8, communicate via body's electrical charge, radio, telepathy. 7 and 8 connected. So that one, that's when she's not sure.
Yeah, I forgot what drove her to write that part.
Yeah, so I think that's just she's just been talking to them, and then that's just another how do they communicate? And
is that what she just started to speculate about after they talked about we want to build an antenna and send the signal out even further or something like that?
No, that's later. That's actually her last point. So then there's 9.
Well, I feel they do talk through telepathy or whatever.
Well, yeah,
they must be somehow connected all at once to do what they do.
They do hold and download the information. They're hold on, let me ask. Pause.
Well, Zosha also explains how it could work, because she says we're not all 100% connected at all times.
Yeah, we're not feeling what each other is feeling at all times or anything.
Right. You can tune in if you need to.
Yeah,
that's
she's
how it seems.
She describes this during the massage scene where she's I'm feeling this massage, but not the entire hive is feeling it. They could tune into it if they want to, but they're doing their own things individually while also collectively all knowing what they're supposed to be doing. So I think it's kind of closer to the ant thing, you're saying, where they all are working together, but also are able to not be 100% connected all the time. Otherwise, how could they get anything done? You need to have some individual tasks to move stuff. But then number 9, it's a weird one. I think because she likes trains, because she mentions she liked hearing the sound of a train horn, which is trains to transport food. More efficiency. So that's just
that one I don't have any real thoughts on. I don't know why that would be a major point to come back.
I think that's just because there's a scene where in the distance they see a train going through, and she goes, are you carrying human bodies through that? And then Zosha explains that they are. And then,
right, when they're on a cliff and they're looking down and then
Carol was I used to like hearing the sound of train whistles. And then Zosha psychically tells the operator to honk the train.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So there's that. The other one's a point we just touched on. Number 10, individuals feel everyone knows. Hive mind explains mass freakouts. And then 11, signal from Kepler 22b, 640 light years from Earth. Ocean world? No clue what Keplins are like. So that is when there's the scene where they're looking at Kepler 22b with the telescope.
Yeah.
And Zosha is being that's where it's come from. So we've talked about that part where it's what is the mechanics of how this works? Was Kepler 22b even the originator of the signal, or are they spreading a signal in the same way?
Maybe they are one of many hive takeover places that have.
Yeah. And then number 12 is building giant antenna, using up all power in world to send signal to space. How? So that's
that sounds
thing.
Like speculation, perhaps.
Well, set up for next season.
Because I don't think you do need use up all the power in the world to do that. Our first radio signals are traveled light years through space. So I don't think we need to use up actually that much energy to do that.
Well, if you want to get the best shot, though, You need to gather all the power of Japan to shoot at Ramiel's core.
To shoot one railgun right
from behind the mountain.
Yes. Well, that's her whole list, and that kind of is the whole show.
Yeah, that's a season in a wrap up. Yeah, that board really does like kind of frame the season. Well.
Yeah, but that's the thing. All of this is still setup.
But at the same time, if hearing that they're not sure what to do with that atom bomb at the end and other things like that, it's like, did you only come up with this quote unquote setup? Like, to be fair, I did enjoy the season throughout. It's not like I was just going like, get to the point, or like, where's the setup?
Right.
Like I wasn't impatient with the show, except for watching Manusos traverse the jungle a bit. I thought that dragged a bit, but
I think so too.
That was his hero's journey. He was trying to make it to North America to find Carol, because that was the reason why he's doing that.
Dude, just ask them to put you on a fucking helicopter or plane.
No,
bro.
dude, he doesn't trust them at all.
I was like, oh my God, who cares?
Which is hilarious because they would have brought him to her in a few days. Like,
not even like, yeah, like. I
mean, over and over again, they prove that they're not going to harm him. He wakes up like unharmed in a hospital bed, and he's like, "No, I'm going to steal an ambulance and bye."
Yeah, which I guess he's going to pay for that ambulance eventually.
Oh no, he's in America now, though.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Or wait, did he start in Panama? I forget. Something like that.
Yeah, I forget. It was still some sort of South American.
Didn't he try to? He was in the hospital and he like tried to pay the bill or some shit. Like, remember?
Yeah, he was trying to pay the bill.
He was trying.
He was like, if the hospital were to have charged me for this procedure, how much would it have cost?
I'm like, that went too far, because I just was like really annoyed by that. I was like,
I wish they replied, "This is a universal healthcare state. We don't have that problem."
Oh my God. Yeah.
But then, yeah, I mean, like the reason why they brought up or he was doing that trip in the first place is because Carol was trying to reach everyone with things she had been learning from this list, basically, and trying to let them know. And it finally reached Manusos all the way in, I forget which country in South America, but in South America. And then he started making his really long journey up north. And yeah, that's...
Man, now it's going to bother me. What country is it? Because they said it all the time. And like now I can't...
They did?
I she would say it all the time. You know, like he's in... I want to say
the detail I remember the most. Oh, he's from Paraguay.
Okay. Yeah, Paraguay. Because she brought it up multiple times.
But he's Colombian. That's interesting. You know what I found interesting? The show gives everyone the same ethnicity as their actors, really specifically, which makes for some interesting confusions, in my opinion, because. In particular for Zosha, like I can imagine Manusos was born in Colombia and then moved to Paraguay. I can imagine. But Zosha looks like she is like living in some sort of like village in the Middle East or something. But then it turns out she grew up in Poland, but that's because the actor is Polish. So I don't know how to...
What's her ethnicity?
Polish.
It is? Okay. It's not just where she was born, right?
I mean, I could look that up again.
That's her nationality, but what's her ethnicity?
So the actor is Carolina Wydra or Wydra. All it says is that she's Polish. She was born in Opole, Poland?
Now, are you talking about how Zosha, like where we first see Zosha before she boards the plane and like...
Yes, she's wearing like rags and is really dirty.
Apparently, like at that moment, she is in Tangier, Morocco, helping dispose of bodies.
Right.
Although Zosha is a Polish name.
Right, that's fair. Yeah. But then what is she doing in Morocco dressed like that?
Was it just like a random act of coordination from the hive mind? It's like, hey, like it makes sense somehow for you to go to Morocco.
You would think everything would be done locally.
Yeah, that would make sense. Or maybe she was done like some sort of missionary thing at the time.
Oh, I see.
But then why dress like that? That's so odd.
She basically, I see here.
Yeah,
I don't know
Zosha is
enough
dressed
about the
somewhat
world.
oddly, and it's a shift because she's like very dirty. Yeah, they really don't know.
I have no hope of getting much further in this conversation. I'm too American for this.
Well, interesting point. Initially, Vince Gilligan wanted everyone who's part of the hive mind to be nude because he thought, why would they need clothes? They don't care about clothes. And then
I mean, that is a fair point on paper, but it's just really awkward to do on screen.
Yeah, the production was like, please don't do that. How are we going to find this many extras willing to be nude?
Yeah, that sounds like a very big headache.
I also don't think that actually is practical. Humans can't stay warm without clothes.
True. And there's a lot of inconvenient bits that kind of flop around if you don't secure them sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes clothes are also like protective, like if you're a firefighter or if you're like working in the hospital. So like you wouldn't want to be nude.
Be on your elbows or knees to any degree.
Yeah. So I would argue that it's like actually not a great idea, even from a sci-fi standpoint, to have them be nude. Because if it doesn't matter, why would they take them off?
Right, true.
Right?
And like
they would just leave them on, yeah.
And since these like hive-minded people are at their core still people with people knowledge, like all the benefits of clothes are still intact.
Yeah, exactly. So
like modesty is but one function or but one solution that clothes provides.
Part of me thinks Vince Gilligan just wanted to see a bunch of nude people.
Maybe.
The more I listen to him, the more I'm like, you're kind of weird, dude.
I mean, pick any prolific creator.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think
just pick one and start looking. You'll find something.
Reading up on the Zosha origin discourse?
I think people are also trying to figure it out. It's not very clear.
Yeah, a lot of people were confused.
Random.
Like some people were like, maybe she's on vacation, and you're like, why would she be on vacation in those clothes? That makes her clothing.
The closest thing I can think of is
They're just trying to go for like a contrast. It's like, hey, we are going to be using a rando lady and like fashioning her into the pirate lady.
Well, yeah, they said that it's Ray-Ban or Raban is
it'd be great if her name was Ray-Ban.
Ray-Ban.
Ray-Ban, Raban. There's a city in Morocco that's also called Rabat, I think, or something. And so they were like, but
that's like fan speculation grasping at straws.
Yeah,
right?
like maybe that's why she's in Morocco.
Well, that wouldn't be explained why the character is in Morocco.
So she's just living there.
It's their fans grasping at straws.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, here's what I think happened. The cynical production person in me is saying they knew they needed these characters. They hired characters that matched the part, and in the midst of rewriting the characters for the actors, which is done a lot because you tend to do that. Like I'm watching her sequence now at the beginning of episode 2. She also has like white hair. So she has lived a stressful life. So they actually dye her hair fully black for her meeting up with Carol.
That's an interesting detail to like have written in there. That's a very deliberate choice to do.
Yeah, she has streaks of white hair. So
I wasn't really remembering that myself. Huh.
So she has deliberately, they have written her originally as coming from a stressful, like maybe an impoverished life, but then like converted her into her fantasy. But then also in the midst of rewriting the character for the actor, which is often done on productions, they were like, oh, what is your personal nationality? Oh, you're Polish? Okay, the character's Polish, without realizing the consequences of what that means from the original scene where she shows up. Like
maybe.
Because the scene where she admits Zosha is Polish comes in like episode 8, I think, the very last episode, which is quite a bit separated from episode 2.
Yeah.
So it's possible they just weren't thinking about the potential visual consequences.
She was abducted as part of human trafficking and ended up in Morocco.
See,
that would be one explanation. Like
you see, that's the thing. You have to come up with such crazy backstories to then, because you could at that point you could come up with any backstory to justify any character being anywhere during that point, right? It's just, given what we know, it's not very believable.
Anything's possible with fiction.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird. I wonder why they made that choice. Like, why Morocco? Why?
See,
I don't know.
And that actually gives me less faith in the show, making me think it is a back-right mistake that they didn't realize the consequences of. They're like, she's Polish.
I think great shows can be made even with those sorts of discrepancies. But they have a lot more work ahead of them to prove it to me.
Because that's the thing.
They probably picked her name after they picked the actor.
Well, didn't they name drop Zosha within like 3 episodes or so, right?
But I mean, like, they wrote the character, they had the character, and then they casted the character, and they're like, all right, now we need to find a Polish name because our actor is Polish. Right. Yes, but even though we wrote it in this whole, like, whatever, this original, the fictional character who we didn't have an actor for was in Morocco, but now we're just, I
feel like if you're figuring all that out,
I don't know why.
All right, I guess my suspicion is something that was overlooked. Then it's just like that point would have been the time to also figure out the Morocco bit. But my concern is this is a very, as they would say in chess, it's a very sharp show. What I'm saying is, because of the level of logical precision they have set up for themselves as the very premise of the show, any sort of straying from a believability of that logic is going to lead to a lot of it falling apart. This is not a show where the emotional themes of the show can carry it through regardless of some of the logic. Like, that's actually something Breaking Bad had going for it. The very premise of Breaking Bad is actually not that believable. Why would a Nobel Prize winning, because he's part of the team that won a Nobel Prize, winning chemist be unable to get another job in America outside of working at a high school? That makes no sense. He could at least be working as a chemist in a company somewhere.
I believe it. This day and age, Marvin. I don't know.
Maybe just
it's hard to get a job
really horribly.
Yeah, we don't know.
He just bombs every interview.
Like, jobs are hard these days,
Yeah, man.
Like, it just
don't judge.
And I think the fact that in the show they like brush over it really quickly as to why it is, and why I think in the broadcast version of the pilot they don't show the Nobel Prize winning thing on the wall.
It was a good thing that they took that out, to be honest.
I think that helps cover up. But then the show really becomes much more about the themes and the character development, and as a result, you can overlook the fact that it's not that super believable. The premise of Better Call Saul isn't that believable. This is a guy who eventually decides to change his working legal name to Saul Goodman as a lawyer. That actually, I don't think you can do that, but the show makes you believe it's possible because the character development is so strong that you're like, whatever. I don't care, that the characters are what matters.
Well, to Pluribus's credit, like it does like pose some very big, interesting questions, and if they can continue exploring those questions in a satisfactory manner with like some technical stuff, I can forgive.
Right.
Because it's like when it gets into big philosophical things, it's like the core benefits and detriments of individuality and, that sort of thing. Like that stuff is kind of like fascinating or interesting to me to watch. Like, show me more of that and I'll keep watching.
Yeah, I think if season 2 continues with the sharpness of it, I think I will be convinced that they'll know how to end it. Sure. So I will say, at least for me, I will watch season 2. I would continue to stay tuned.
Yeah.
Right. Like, to get back to like the original premise of this podcast we're doing, at first it was, we began saying like very obviously all 3 of us stayed tuned, quote unquote, long enough to finish a whole season. But the big question now is, are we willing to watch season 2? So you say yes.
I say yes as well, but I wonder, like, how many seasons could this realistically go on for? Like,
yeah, I think we're all kind of like yeses
cautiously
with reservations.
Optimistic?
Yeah, we're cautious yeses now.
Yeah, I think I'm okay. So, like, unlike Severance, where I'm like, oh, I really want a 3rd season. I would love to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm not that excited for Pluribus season 2. I think it's more of like, if it came out, be like, oh, Pluribus is out, and I'll watch it.
Right. And like at this point, we're just like rating our excitement levels for it.
Yeah.
At which point it has been reduced a considerable amount based off of the news that they're that they're kind of showing their hand that they don't have everything planned out already.
I also think it was a good show, but I felt like it was like just a touch overhyped. Like I felt like people were like dying. They were like, this is the best show of the century. And I was
you mean like people were saying that about Pluribus?
Wow. Yeah, and I just was like, oh my God. Like it was just a touch. It's good, but like I felt a little like I was waiting for my mind to be blown, and I was like, oh, I mean, okay, it's a solid show. I personally am more of like a Better Call Saul person, but I just felt like it was a touch hyped up like a lot.
Yeah, I think Better Call Saul actually benefited from, at least at first, it seemed like it was like the lower budget spinoff, and it had like a scrappy feel to it. And I think that forced it to become, it was very messy as well, because they were trying to have it be a prequel, not just for Saul Goodman, but also for Mike, which are two completely different worlds that you're trying to like kind of mix into this one show. And that made it really messy, but the times that they made it work so well that you're like, oh, okay, they know what they're doing. When they lead up to an arc for something with these characters, they're trying to make a point. It makes sense.
I'm glad that they like although I haven't seen Better Call Saul like through its entirety myself, I'm glad that they capitalized on those moments well, because those are like the convergence of Mike and Saul prior to Breaking Bad has to happen. And
yes,
I'm glad that they pulled it off well.
I will say that the end of Better Call Saul is maybe better than the end of Breaking Bad.
Oh, just because that's pretty good praise, because Breaking Bad was a fairly good ending as far as TV shows go.
See, Breaking Bad's ending is almost too clean, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
like
okay.
It is
that's where you're going with it.
It's like almost a perfect ending. Like there is like almost nothing wrong. Everything is answered. Even if you had the slightest bit.
Call me a basic bitch, but I am okay with the too clean ending after like several seasons of show.
You're a basic.
Wrap it up for me like at the end of a long time. I don't care if it's just some pablum. It's fine.
Well, that's the thing. I think Saul also explains and wraps up everything perfectly, but it does so on a note that feels more about a character doing something, versus with Breaking Bad, it felt like more of like a series of events that is going to lead up to this ending that like Walter White kind of does, but it's almost like it's funny. Vince Gilligan also recently admitted they started writing off the last season of Breaking Bad with the scene of Walter White.
This podcast feels like a long list of Vince Gilligan admitting things.
Well, it's related. It's actually related to what we were talking about, because Vince Gilligan claimed the very first scene they wrote was that very first scene of season 5, the final season, which is him talking to the gun dealer and finding the big machine gun in the back. And he said when they started writing that season, they did not know what to do with that machine gun.
Right.
They were like,
I remember reading about this like recently.
We wrote this, God damn it. Now we need to do something with it. See, my hope is the atomic bomb is the same.
Well, yeah. Like that kind of that is what this is like right now.
Yeah.
It's a very similar.
My hope is that he has also done a similar writing himself into a hole that he knows how to get out of. My hope is that season 2 isn't just like, oh, it turns out the bomb doesn't work without certain things.
Well, I was about to ask you a quick temperature check, like yes or no, should the bomb go off?
Oh, it's gotta.
You kind of have to, right? Like, how can this is Chekhov's bomb?
Or the threat of it going off has to be extremely real and have very, very possible consequences.
Yeah, like
it's not
the
just
fact that they brought this in really ups the ante to a point they better come up with something.
It's also not a coincidence that they're bringing an A-bomb into New Mexico. Like there has to be something there. Like you can't not blow the nuke up once you brought it back to where it was born. You know what I mean? Like they got to do something with it.
Maybe they'll hive mind the bones of Oppenheimer and Einstein. And he'll appear from behind the taxi.
Yeah. With Avengers music playing.
They all come together with Manusos and
He heard
Carol
their conversation from across the courtyard somehow.
How did people not laugh in the theater? Come on.
We were laughing.
What the fuck? What the hell, theater? That is hilarious. I don't care who you
How
are.
are people not laughing at Oppenheimer's suit up scene where he's
that's just being a badass. What an alpha
that
male.
scientist was like, you take off that uniform. You're a scientist dressed like one. And he starts putting on his fucking like suit, putting on his iconic hat. And you're like, oh my God, they're doing a literal Iron Man suit up scene with Oppenheimer's clothing.
Well, I mean, we have to remember, this is the Batman guy. He's done 3 Batman movies.
Yep.
You can't shake that.
Also, the part where he's reading, I have become destroyer of worlds, is when Florence Pugh is writing him.
Right, and he reads it out, right? Was
weird.
it she who said it, was a he in that scene?
He read it out loud.
Okay,
she gives it to him.
I think she was.
No, the blocking of that scene is very random. They were having sex. She decides to just get up for no reason, goes to the bookshelf and goes, "What's this?" Hands it to him, and he goes, "Read something for me." And he reads, blah, 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 blah. I have become destroyer of worlds.
This page is bookmarked, and this passage is highlighted. Can you read it for me?
It's almost like you want to make some sort of really big bomb in the future.
And also, there's a post-it on this book that says, during sex.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
During big explosion.
Everyone has their thing they're into. So.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Some people are into big breasts and balloons and things. So
her turn on was nuclear weapons.
That has to be a real thing.
What? That they were having sex when they were
not a nuclear weapons fetish.
Oh, I'm sure.
There's
God,
something
for everyone, Dan.
Oh yeah, that's got to be real.
Everyone
is that person is coming whenever they play Fallout or watch Fallout. They're like, there
must be a straight through line from like pinup girl art of the 40s, 50s to atomic bombs and shit like that.
With nuclear panic, yeah. But yeah, that's Pluribus. I think it's clearly the weakest of the Vince Gilligan shows right now. I mean, you haven't seen Better Call Saul yet, Dan, but I think I don't know. What do you think, Sarah?
I think so as well. I can agree with that. I definitely love Better Call Saul, and then probably Breaking Bad, and then probably this.
Was Vince Gilligan the official creator of Lone Gunman?
I think he was, actually. Let me double check.
That's because that's a spin-off of X-Files, but I don't remember if he was credited as creating that show.
Let me double check. He was one of the creators.
Okay.
He created along with the X-Files creator Chris Carter. So
okay.
Yeah. So yes. So I mean, I think his first like solo created show, Vince Gilligan, you could probably say is Breaking Bad, because that was like his first pitch from beginning to end type of deal. Because he worked on he worked on X-Files before as well, so that's why he worked on Lone Gunman and all that. But in fact, that's how you remember Bryan
X-Files
Cranston.
has like if you try to evaluate X-Files overall as a show, like there are varying opinions over how good it is as a whole.
The version and the part where, from what I remember, the seasons where Vince Gilligan took over are the worst seasons.
And I have like absolutely no, I have no like real context for that at present, because when I was watching the show, I had no like awareness of who was in charge of what. So
yeah, I mean, it was not as transparent back in those days as to what is a show creator, what do they do for a TV show. Then
I saw maybe the names Vince Gilligan and Chris Carter. And that's about it.
And because Vince Gilligan didn't even join until later, so he was not one of the original like people involved in X-Files.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we'll see what it's not coming out till at least 2027, I guess. So
this is modern TV.
God. We'll be long gone by then.
Take us back to the 90s, where we get to review an episode of Star Trek every week.
That's one thing I wanted to talk about too. Like, how do you guys feel about the cadence of so-called prestige television coming out this slowly?
I'm not a huge fan.
I hate it. It's hard. It's hard to hang on between years. Sometimes it's like 3-4 years sometimes between.
Like,
yeah, for example, like Severance season 3. When did Severance season 2 end? When did Severance season 2 come out? So Severance season 2 came out. So it ended ended in March 2025. Severance season 3 isn't coming until late summer of 2027. Like, that's a huge amount of time. I feel like, regardless of even how you personally feel about it, I feel like that's bad for the show.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, to lose that much momentum. Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like, the loss of momentum is definitely a huge problem. Although the alternative is how much faster could you make it realistically at the same level of quality?
Because they're not making it while the show's coming out. That's the thing.
Right.
They go.
But are these
drop.
breaks what they need to keep the show's quality high?
I think there's a fine line between having enough time off to have a break and then also having so much time off that you've lost all of your creative momentum. And I think that was one of the problems. There were many problems with The World's End, but I think that was one of the problems. Is that if this is supposedly a Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, Cornetto trilogy, it had been such a long time since the two of them had written a screenplay together that there was no way The World's End was going to turn out any good because they had lost all creative momentum about making another movie going into it. They had to literally lock themselves in a cabin and force themselves to write for 2 weeks in order to get a movie done. And that is not a great way to force something to come out. Like, if you wait that long and you're contractually obligated to make a show, will you still even have the creative momentum to keep going? Or are you just going to consign to, well, we have to make something now, And at that point, I think part of the problem can be you get too much.
That's closer to how TV used to be, though. It's just that budgets were small enough and everything was active enough that mediocrity was okay because there was always more.
That's fair. Yeah, that if we're referencing Star Trek again, like some people in our Discord are constantly part of why you could get away with
say that like it's a problem. Like all those people are Star Trek Discord.
No. This specific topic is, I should have phrased it that way. Like, part of why older Star Trek could get away with having so many bad episodes. Well, one, there was just less media to compete, but two, it didn't matter if that one was bad when you're going to have a bunch of other episodes that season which are potentially good, and it's not as critical that this one episode be good.
These new shows are 5-6 episodes, so if 2 of them suck, you're okay, there's significantly less episodes, and you're well, I waited 3 years for this show and it's 6 episodes and 3 of the episodes suck.
I think it's interesting that I think The Pit has found a balance, which I think is really good, which is they're doing 15, but they're also making the seasons fairly quickly. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things is that they're riding the middle of, we're making prestige television, but we're also not taking fucking forever to make every new season. They have a workflow and they figured it out. To be fair, they have
one
a show
headline that said something to the effect of they are adhering closer to older TV show production timelines and standards.
Yeah, I think they are functionally working kind of like ER used to, which is since they're all on primarily one set. I mean, there's other sets obviously because
it's the same creator, is it?
So that is a big point of controversy. So Noah Weil, not Wiley, right? Noah Weil, was the star of ER, right?
Oh, it's a star.
You're right. So he had pitched something to the original creators of ER, Michael Crichton of Jurassic Park fame, to do a COVID version of ER. What if ER but during COVID? And Michael Crichton's I think it's Michael Crichton. If I'm wrong, Crichton or I think it's Michael Crichton at all. Was Michael Crichton creator of ER?
Or I'm pretty sure that's how Pinky from Pinky and the Brain pronounces it.
Okay, so it is that Michael, regardless.
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Mike. His family said no. So Noah Weil decided to create his own show called The Pit, put it in a different city, make it post-COVID. But now they start suing him because they're like, hey,
what?
You pitched the show like this, and now you're doing your own thing. And to be fair, Noah Weil, dude, it's a hospital drama. How protected can you make a hospital drama? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
what,
well, you know.
like how can you sue over the existence of a hospital drama?
Just because it has the same star, like, but he's
People
a different
sue
character.
Over anything.
Yeah, like he's a different character. Like, what do you, that's silly.
Yeah, and this show is inherently more about the old, like, because a lot of I think about 2/3 of the characters are like med students still. So it's a lot of it is about like them becoming doctors.
Like if the studio who owned ER had kept like Noah Weil on retainer, like forever, kind of like how Nintendo has Charles Martinet on lock forever.
Yeah.
Then we'd have something to go on here, but no.
Yeah. So, whatever. But all of that is to say, I think they are following a similar older school production model where they're like, hey, let's keep it simple. Let's not like go too crazy. And because I don't think the problem with how long this is taking is necessarily the budget. It's Apple TV. And also they get what was the Pluribus budget? Like the Pluribus budget was $15 million per episode. So for a 9-episode season, that was $135 million. Like,
I wonder what they consider the return on investment is on that so far.
I see. That's the thing. Again, I think Apple does not mind because that's a drop in the bucket for them overall. And
I mean, when you're $1 trillion company, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're using this to gain more mind share, and to like promote Apple as a product. This is what comes with the Apple product.
You just reminded me of that one panel we once like dropped in on during a WonderCon, and it was like some marketing thing, and the lady presenting seriously used the term heart share.
Oh yeah,
to talk about becoming endeared to the audience, and it's like, right. This is awful.
Yep, that's marketing for you. Yep. Heart share, mind share,
hive mind.
Where's soul share?
Yeah, you got them. Hive
They'll
mind
do
share.
soul share as soon as they can properly quantify it.
Yeah, soul share.
They need to get the exchange rates on the religions just right.
Blood share.
What's the ROI on that?
In the future, in the dystopian future, they will start using our blood to connect our blood into the citywide cooling systems required to keep AI systems cool. We need to share our blood.
That might just be Warhammer. It might be Warhammer. I don't know. I don't know enough about Warhammer, but it sounds kind of like Warhammer.
Yeah. So we'll see Pluribus. We'll see Vince.
Yeah, we'll stay tuned, Vince. But you're on thin ice here,
2027. We'll come back to you in 2027 and let you know.
Yeah. When is Pluribus season 2 coming out? I didn't even look that up.
Oh God, I don't need to hear this now. Don't tell me. Like 3 years.
It says early 2028.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry. I was wrong. So we'll get back to you in probably 2029. We'll get back.
Yeah. So like, if 2028 from the conclusion of Pluribus, like of the season that we saw, then that is 3 years almost.
Yeah, it's 3 years. Yeah,
just about.
That's fucking crazy. And it's like 2020, 8 is when it's gonna they're not gonna drop them all at the same time. They'll probably do like a batch.
Oh yeah, this released an episode at a time as well.
So it's gonna take fucking months. It's ridiculous. Like, again, we won't be talking about this until 2029.
Hey, let's all go back to the 90s, back when you could get one episode of Star Trek on Saturday and then another episode of Star Trek on Sunday.
Yeah.
And they both be new. And you'd have to wait a week to get 2 more new ones.
Also, NBC could convince you that if you haven't seen it, it's new to you.
If you're listening to this on YouTube in the future, comment 2029 in the comments, please. Because
but the thing is, I
would love for you to comment 2029 or
if
2030
they take that long
even
to write it. Like, they're going to be affected by fan feedback, and I think that's bad. You know what I mean? I feel like they're going to
maybe they need it. Maybe what I say is correct. Maybe they're grasping for ideas now. It's like, fuck, what did we do with this atom bomb? Like
Jonathan Nolan admitted that ruined Westworld because he saw, like, the writer, the fans saw the twist coming, so he changed the twist. Like,
well, it's don't worry. I'm sure that. Oh gosh. Well, okay. I think Vince Gilligan, at least, has been very vocal about his non-support of AI. But
he hates it.
He's very anti.
Right. Yeah.
Which
So he's
is
very
great.
he's very
Thank
against
God.
it. So good on that.
He said while developing the show, he was like, I didn't even know this existed. Then I heard it existed. I'm like, oh, this sucks. This is fucking awful.
But then there are other more cynical shows out there that have been shown behind the scenes footage where the supposed writers have browsers open with several tabs of what seem to be AI generators around.
It's now supported officially in their WGA contracts. So,
oh man, really?
Yeah,
what do you mean by supported?
It is officially. So, according to the new WGA contract they signed in like 2025, basically only writers are allowed to use generative AI large language models for their writing. And if they use it, they have to say they used it to production, but it doesn't have to be advertised as long as a writer touched it and the writer gets credit.
Wow, that's
fuck off.
Yeah,
no.
That's been built in. See, this is why I'm saying now we're going to talk a little bit about how these union agreements suck ass because they all conceded to the AI demands. Like the Writers Guild did that, and then SAG conceded by saying, okay, well, you can use our AI likeness as a writer on a contract. We're allowed to say no, right? But you idiots, at the moment you put that, every fucking company that says, hey, we're attaching the writer, and you say no, they just won't hire you, and they'll hire someone who will.
Right.
So, like, all of you are so short-sighted. Like, you're all a bunch of fucking dummies who don't Jason Bateman's sister, Justine Bateman, she was warning everyone about this. She kept saying, do not do that. The moment you make an optional concession, it will become mandatory over time. Just de facto.
Are we to blame Samwise for this? Is
he
this
wasn't
on
president
him?
yet. No, we have to blame the nanny. The nanny fucked up. The nanny
God
sucked.
damn it.
Yeah.
It's the nanny.
Yeah. She fucked up. She kept coming back from each of these negotiations going, okay, well, we got everything we asked for. And it's like, no, you made huge concessions.
Damn it. So, all right. Samwise is still cool, I guess, for now.
But who knows how he'll do it. Yeah, I mean, and then, say nothing of all the below the line people who are getting fucked over by this because they didn't even get a chance to negotiate whether they're allowed to use generative AI or not. People are just using it without their consent. So... and that's a union. Imagine shops that aren't union.
Joke's on them. The movie industry's dying.
Yeah, it's gonna all get taken over by Star Trek podcasts. That's what's gonna.
Way of the future.
Oh my God!
It's like the end of The Aviator.
Yeah, it's like the end of Pluribus.
Way of the future. Way of the future.
Oh wow, I forgot how depressing that movie ended. You just reminded me of like, it seems like he's triumphant, but then he just starts going fucking nuts.
Well, when you're really, really rich and crazy,
it's fine. He was super rich. He was okay. He had the money to support his craziness. That's the thing. Just like
money's
Kanye,
very insulating to craziness. You see.
Yeah. That's how Kanye West got away with it for so long. Because
lots of people getting away with lots of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Goodbye, everyone. We'll be back for Pluribus.
Goodbye. We'll talk to you in 2030.
Yeah. Stay tuned for the next.
Sarah keeps adding on a year every time we mention the date.
Yeah.
See y'all in 2032 for our next list.
Comment 2030 if you're listening in 2030.
2050.
2050. Comment 2050.
Pluribus season 3, 2050.
I guess for the listeners'
because
benefit,
you're curious and you wanted to listen to information about Pluribus season 1, so you're in 2030 or 20 and beyond.
A new generation of children will have grown up going, "What's Pluribus?"
Yeah, exactly.
One day, my great grandchildren will see season 3 of Pluribus.
Yes, and just know that we were thinking about you in this moment.
Yeah. Just write your shows faster. Like, you guys are talented. We know you can do it. No. I know they're putting you on like marketing tour circuits and stuff. That takes up a lot of your time. I get it. That's over. It should not take you 3 years. Come on, everyone. Like,
Writing is hard.
It's
You're
hard,
tired.
but it's also your job.
It's not just the writing, it's production, you know?
Yeah, but production doesn't take 2 years.
But also, it's these people's schedules and stuff, you know? They're shooting other things and stuff and doing other shit.
Are they?
Probably.
And Vince
how
Gilligan
much-
needs to put that new roof on his house.
Yeah, he has to put the roof on himself. That's why it's taking so long.
Yeah, it saves money.
Anyway, well, we'll see. We will
Apple TV
definitely
just giving
Giving
Alpha-
Albuquerque because he likes how it looks. Oh, you know what? I just reminded myself of something. Shout outs to the production of this show for very deliberately choosing not to film at real and inside of a real neighborhood this time. They built a fake one so that no one would end up becoming a tourist spot.
Yes.
To hurl pizzas on the roofs or anything.
Yeah. When Sarah and I were watching, we were commenting like, "Oh, this is totally not a real area."
But that's good. It's good that it's not.
What kind of backyard is this that goes? Because they're on top of a hill, but that plane seems to go on for a while. How is that possible?
It's also like perfectly level.
Yeah,
Like
but on top of a hill,
plausibly perfectly level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's like they're on top of a mesa, but you would never build a house cul-de-sac on top of a mesa. So
maybe we should start. It didn't look that bad.
Yeah.
I kind of dug it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Anyway,
it's
till
all right.
next time, everyone.
Bye, Carol. Bye.
Bye, Carol.
We love you,
Please,
Carol.
Please.
Oh yeah, that scene. They're all going super creepy. Please, Carol.
Please don't make us admit we can reverse this, Carol.
Yeah.
We're so sad that you don't want to be with us.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.